Hello, I'm Shaun Attwood of National Geographic Channel's TV show Banged Up or Locked Up Abroad. Here to talk about why political paedophiles aren't going to prison. Biggest thing trending on Twitter right now here in the UK is Cameron must go, as in David Cameron, the Prime Minister. What's one of the things he's done? He said anyone talking about political paedophiles is a conspiracy theorist, which is absolute nonsense, because if you go back to Margaret Thatcher, Prime Minister, she had a known paedophile working under her, Sir Peter Morrison, who was the Deputy Party Chairman. Now, Edwina Currie, another senior Conservative politician under Margaret Thatcher, recently come out and said Margaret Thatcher not only knew that Morrison was a paedophile, but she told him to clean his act up. And even though he didn't clean his act up, she kept him on, so she had hired him in the capacity knowing that he was a paedophile. Thatcher's bodyguard, Barry Strevens, he's come out and said, you know, he warned Margaret Thatcher about this Morrison guy who was having sex parties with underage boys. So it was all known at the time, it was all covered up, and that's how the establishment protects itself. I'm sure David Cameron is fully aware of this. It's not a conspiracy theory at all. In fact, the term conspiracy theory was invented by the US authorities to discredit anyone who's getting near the truth. So is that what's happening, David Cameron? Are we getting near the truth? Is that why you're using words like conspiracy theorist? Perhaps you should go and have a chat with Edwina Currie about what she knows, because it seems that she's privy to a lot of criminal activity, sexual criminal activity within your own Conservative Party. Then there's the case of the Elm Guest House, which has come out here in the UK following the Jimmy Savile, all the paedophile stuff to come out about Jimmy Savile. He's a celebrity, or was a celebrity, he's deceased now over here in the UK. The Elm Guest House situation is this: Mary Moss, she filed a lot of documents with the police about what was going on at the Elm Guest House. Young people were being procured from hostels and places in the area and brought over to the Elm Guest House, where they were being forced to participate or manipulated into participating in sexual acts with not run-of-the-mill paedophiles, but the highest profile paedophiles in existence at that time, including people associated with the royal family, including people in politics. Now, Mary May suspected that if she handed this documentation over to the police, that it might somehow get lost in the levels of bureaucracy and nothing would happen surrounding it. So a lot of it was photographed, and it's now readily available to look at on the internet. If you put in Elm Guest House on Google, click images, and the images of the original documentation will come up. And on that list are some really high profile names here in the UK. Cliff Richard, famous pop star. Leon Britton, who was also a senior politician working under Margaret Thatcher, who's still alive today and should be questioned about this, but the establishment is closing around him to protect him. Cyril Smith, a ex-MP politician here who's since deceased. John Rowe, MI5, ex-MP. Ray Wire, who, get this, his job title was expert on paedophile therapy. So a lot of this has come about in the aftermath of the Jimmy Savile case, and you know, I was reading David Icke 10 years ago, years before all this came out in the mainstream media. David Icke was saying that Jimmy Savile was a prolific paedophile, and I thought David Icke was bonkers when he was saying this. But he was spot on. You know, a lot of it, even the mainstream media now has reported about it. The other thing David Icke said about Jimmy Savile, that he was a procurer of kids for politicians, for people associated with the royal family. And, you know, all of these TV celebrities now that have been exposed, and the mainstream media was all over it, the implication is that these were just fall guys for the higher-ups. And now we're looking at the higher-ups in the political establishment, but every time it gets close to that, the media, the mainstream media, most of it shuts down. It's as if they're doing it on purpose to protect these senior politicians. But wouldn't be because the people owning the mainstream media are dangling the strings behind these politicians as well, would it by any chance? Oh no, that's just a conspiracy theory, silly me. So the way I see it is there's a form of revolution occurring today, but it's a revolution on the internet. We're sick and tired of these corrupt, degenerate, paedophile politicians running our lives, you know, embezzling all this money through the banking system, through all these other means, and a way to get them out of power is to expose them for what they're doing with all these sex crimes with kids. And that's why this is trending right now so strongly on the internet. It's the alternative media sources such as David Icke, Alex Jones, Russell Brand exposing to this stuff that's waking the people up. So I urge everyone to keep the pressure on. If we all keep enough pressure on, it can't just be shut out by the mainstream media closing on the establishment to protect these figures. You know, if the public keeps the pressure on for long enough, it's got to be exposed, and these guys have got to be brought to justice, and they should be in prison serving their sentences and taking responsibility for what they've done. And we need to get people, you know, in government who are honest and responsible, going to be looking out for the interests of us and not for just the wealthiest section of society. Thank you very much for listening to this video. Please follow my channel on YouTube. Appreciate you spending the time. Thank you.